Intellectual Property is proudly brought to you by Adams & Adams, rooted in 100 years of excellence in intellectual property law.
Welcome to the Intellectual Property Show on Summit. My name is Stefan Lamprecht, and today we chat about what funding and support is available for practicing intellectual property management. To give us more clarity on the matter, I'm joined in the studio by McLean Sibanda from the Innovation Fund. Welcome, McLean.
Thank you, Stefan.
McLean, can we start off by just telling us a little bit what is the Innovation Fund and what role do you play in the innovation space?
Stefan, the Innovation Fund was set up by the Department of Science and Technology to fund technological innovation in South Africa.
Okay.
So the focus is on South African novel technologies which have national benefit and which can contribute to economic growth, and in some cases we also look at technologies which don't necessarily have commercial outcomes but can have societal outcomes as well. And the role that I play within the Innovation Fund is I head up the IP Management Office, which is responsible for providing IP management expertise to the Innovation Fund and also to some of the publicly funded institutions in the country.
Okay. So the value that you add and the role that you play extends to everyone in South Africa?
Yes. We work very closely with all the universities, all the science councils, because that has become very important in today's knowledge economy, to ensure that maximum value is extracted out of research that is conducted at universities.
Okay. So no more doing research for the sake of research. We want to get to that societal and also economic benefits.
Absolutely. However, having said that, there is a place for basic research, because applied research cannot just exist in isolation.
Yeah.
You need basic research to feed into applied research.
Okay. And there are instruments that support that, like the NRF, the National Research Foundation, and so forth.
Yes, the NRF, in essence, funds the early part of the value chain in terms of basic fundamental research. The Innovation Fund looks more upstream or downstream in terms of closer to the market. And so, therefore, the technologies that are funded by the Innovation Fund, in essence, are technologies that have some application in industry and society.
Okay. Now you've done your own research in terms of understanding the motivation behind the greater urgency for us to look after commercializing and getting that societal impact from all of these public funded research. Can you tell us a little bit about the outcome of your research, some of the findings?
Well, the study is published in an Innovation Fund publication called The State of Patenting in South Africa. We've just finished launching that in Bloemfontein last week. And the outcome of that reveals that the bulk of the patenting in South Africa is done by the private sector. The publicly funded institutions contribute only about 5% of the patenting that is done in South Africa. And also, I mean, when we say patenting done in South Africa, we also mean patenting done by South Africans abroad. The study looked at patent applications filed at the European Patent Office, the PCT, and the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And what we found was that Sasol and De Beers, or formerly what used to be De Beers Industrial Diamonds, now Element 6, contribute significantly to the patent portfolios in South Africa. The CSIR is a strong contender in terms of the top patenting companies in South Africa. But having said that, what we found was that the universities published about 12 patents, or had 12 patents granted over a period of 15 years, out of about 2,052 patents granted at the European Patent Office and the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
And I mean, obviously, if you think about the universities, huge institutions that's got the capability to patent, being large institutions, and secondly, the fact that they receive a lot of public money, then 12 or 15 patents over that long period of time, that's quite shocking.
Yeah, the numbers are very low, but if one looks at it, there's a whole lot of factors, and I think the major factor for such low patenting rate is that the incentives at universities are based on publications. So the more you publish, the more chances you have of promotion, and also subsidies for lecturers and for funding of universities also based on the number of publications. And the message that we've taken out to the publicly funded institutions so far after this particular report that patenting and publishing can be done both at the same time. You have to assess the commercial value of that invention that you have, and if there is some application, protect it, and then you can publish.
Now, you speak about this message that you're bringing across. This message is very much in line with government's message to say that we want to transform our economy to knowledge-based. How has some of that commitment transpired into practical support measures to support me, the innovator? I'm an entrepreneur wanting to patent, or I'm a researcher wanting to patent. What kind of support can I expect from government?
Well, there's more and more instruments that government has set up. If we start off by looking simply at the Innovation Fund, there is now a patent support fund for small, medium enterprises. And so the entrepreneur out there that has a brilliant idea but requires funding to fund the patenting costs and some money to actually do prototype development, they can approach the Innovation Fund. The money will be either an equity or in the form of a loan. We'll structure something that will provide value to both to the entrepreneur and also a return to the public purse.
And then also, if you think about Trevor Manuel, Minister of Finance, making the announcement last year about this 150% tax rebate for R&D, how do you see that impacting on the creation of more South African intellectual property, more patents, and creating more of that patent portfolios internationally?
I think that should actually contribute significantly, because if you look at countries like Korea, India, China, there have been increases in terms of the amount of R&D that has been done in those countries. And with the increase in amount of R&D, there's increase in the number of patenting and intellectual property and know-how that is generated. And what we've seen in those Asian tigers is actually growth in the economies.
Okay.
So I think the message that the government is actually putting out there is that we need to spend more on R&D. And by spending more on R&D, we need to focus on growing the knowledge economy.
And this comes from all angles. I think, for example, from the Department of Trade and Industry, programs like the support program for industrial innovation. Do you see that benefit coming through
Absolutely.
as well?
I think SPI is a very good program. There's also THRIP, which is run through the NRF, but is really a DTI program, which also looks at funding human resources development, but with a focus, again, in terms of technology.
There's a very positive message coming forward, and basically you guys are positioning to help people and facilitate these kind of opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. I think government is very committed, and it's not only the Department of Science and Technology, but the various departments, Department of Health, Education, and DTI.
Okay. Thank you very much, McLean Sibanda from the Innovation Fund. If you want to know more about them or other support for funding your intellectual property management, you can visit the Innovation Fund website at www.innovationfund.ac.za. Tune in again next week when we find out more about the role of intellectual property in our future energy solutions. From me, Stefan Lamprecht, it's good night.
Intellectual property was proudly brought to you by Adams and Adams, rooted in 100 years of excellence in intellectual property law.